Recording in progress.
Meeting to order. Prakash, can you be on mute for some time? It's echoing. Meeting to order. First, the prayer. Heaven of freedom. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of truth, where tide staying stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary deserts and abundant habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into the heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Thank you. Good evening, Fosfolians, the members of Anna Nagar and the sister concerns of Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Adayar, Bogal Joint, and Cupertino. Today, I'll be taking up the proceedings in absence of Sharma. Is traveling up to California. So he has asked me to convene the meeting, and my friend Anand Kumar, our joint secretary, will be helping me to complete the proceedings. Today we have the speaker, Mr. Prakash Sesh, who is a management trainer. He's a IIM graduate and also has been working in the Tata Group. More introduction will follow from Mr. Sidhu, who will be introducing the speaker. The topic is growing old is a lot of fun. So it's going to be extempore speech and no PowerPoint presentation. So it is going to be a talk actually for us to listen to him. And let's see how he takes us through for the whole thing. I now hand over the mic to Sir Sidhu, who will introduce the speaker. Thereupon, Mr. Prakash will take up the discussion. At the end of the session, we'll have the question answers. You can probably put your questions in your chat box if they're ready. It will be answered. Otherwise, in the open discussion, we can also discuss it. It will be followed by a vote of thanks by Anand Kumar. And after that conclusion, we'll have an again open mic session where people can add the views. Over to Sidhu for the introduction.
Dear friends, I'm Anand Kumar, Joint Secretary, trying to introduce my son, born in 1989. He is named Kulasekaram after my father, but we call him Sidhu. He's a commerce graduate, helping me in all respects in running my chartered accountant firm along with his elder brother, Shravan Kumar. Now I request my son to introduce the speaker of the day, Mr. Prakash Shesh. Over to Sidhu.
Dear Fosfolians, PDG Rotarian Prakash Shesh will tickle your funny bone shortly by telling how growing old is a lot of fun. Be prepared to giggle and laugh, for laughter is the best medicine and to bring down your BP. MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, MSc Physics from Delhi IIT are his stepping stones for a bright career as a trainer, Rotarian governor, auditor, ISO 9000 of quality management lead assessor, entrepreneur, book writer, management consultant, Hindi film music buff, happy family man, good citizen, husband and parent. Kindly listen carefully and don't miss the fun. Over to Sri Prakash Shesh ji. Most difficult thing on stage is being a comedian because speakers should not lose time in laughing. Thank you.
Thank you for this wonderful introduction, Mr. Sidhu. Now we hand over the proceedings to the speaker, Mr. Prakash Shesh, and we'll be looking forward very curiously to see how he is going to tickle our nerves. Thank you.
This is it, right?
Go ahead, Mr. Prakash.
Yeah. Is my voice clear?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sidhu, for that brief but good introduction. I have been introduced many times, and there are many aspects about myself which I came to know through these introductions. But you did a good job. So, namaskar from me to all of you. This is, I think, my fourth occasion of addressing Foswell meetings in the last 2.5 years. And I conclude that one of the following must be true: that either they like my speeches or they are probably waiting for me to improve enough. So they'll keep on giving me assignments until they feel that I have improved enough. I would, of course, like to believe that they like what I say and therefore they keep inviting me. Now, growing old is a lot of fun. Actually, I would say it is fun with a capital F, provided you have the attitude to look at old age and the things that surround you in that period of your life. A friend of mine actually wanted to know that how can that phase of your life be really fun when you are nearer to death. All of us know that we are nearer to death in our old age. So I told him, are you a Hindu? And he said, yes, I am a Hindu. So I said, in Hinduism, the only objective of everybody who gets born on this earth is to attain moksha, means salvation. And how do you attain this moksha? By completing the repeated cycles of rebirth. So I said, technically, when you die, you are one cycle closer to moksha. So actually, death should be a matter of celebration, because you are one cycle closer to the final salvation, final moksha, so that you don't have to anymore go through these cycles. He didn't, of course, agree with me, but that I told him that, look, it depends upon how you look at things. If you look at death this way, then probably it is not as sad an event as it is usually made out to be. I'll start with a very brief story which tells us about how spunky senior citizens are. In one of my Rotary clubs, we had called a speaker, and he was given 25 minutes to speak. And as is, the habit of many speakers, when they are given 25 minutes, they'll probably speak for 45 minutes because they are in love with their own voice. All speakers are in love with their own voice. I hope I am not. I expect to finish this in 45 to 50 minutes, which has been given to me. And this speaker went on, and finally he stopped. So everybody heaved a sigh of relief. And such speakers also have this habit, at the end of their speech, they would say, are there any questions? Their main objective is that while answering the question, they'll again take 15-20 minutes of their own voice. They'll hear their own voice. So he said, are there any questions? And one senior citizen from our club got up. He said, yes, Mr. Speaker, I have a question. And he said, yes, please go ahead. What is it that you want to ask? And that guy said, sir, what is that cut on your cheek? I see that you put a sticking tape there. And the speaker was a little bamboozled because he had spoken on something else. And this guy was asking him totally something else. But still, he said, no, you see, what happened was this morning, I was thinking so hard about what I should speak to this club that I accidentally cut my cheek. So the senior citizen said, this guy, he said, sir, can I give you a suggestion? Yes, go ahead, he said. She said, my suggestion is that next time we call you or someone else calls you, please pay more attention to your shaving and cut your speech. So I guess, I always keep this story at the back of my mind. I don't have a cut on my cheeks today, but many of you might look at me like that and ask me certain questions which would, be a little embarrassing to me. So I won't let that situation come about. Okay, let's get into the topic. What I have done is I'll explain to you, like I always do in my speeches, as to how I have arranged my thoughts. I'm going to tell you about 4 or 5 things which are really pleasurable when you get old, far more than what they are when you are younger. And after completing those 4 or 5 things, I'm also going to tell you certain things which could be dangerous, which could reduce this pleasure and happiness of yours if you are not careful. So each of those negative things which I'm going to tell you at the end of my talk can be converted into something which will give you happiness. So that way, both sections of my talk would, say something about how you can derive happiness from your old age, and actually growing old, how it is a lot of fun, as the topic says. Okay, my point number one is, when you grow old, people start giving you a lot of respect. At least in the Indian situation, this is true. In an American home, it may not be true. But in an Indian home, you suddenly start getting a lot of respect. More respect than what you were getting when you were not so old. So chances are that whenever you're sitting in a family situation or in your house, chances are that you are the oldest in any room that you sit, because everyone else is younger than you. So there is a lot of touching of feet. There is a lot of showing of respect. People will stand up, when you enter the room, kind of thing. Effectively, what I have analyzed the situation is that effectively you get respect irrespective of whether you deserve it or not. So that's a good situation to be in, isn't it? That people are respecting you without analyzing whether respect should really be shown to you. There is one major difference between our culture and that in the West. The major difference is that in India, we give a lot of respect to age, or what we say gray hair, and not so much to competence. I mean, we do respect competence also. I'm not saying that we don't respect competence, but we give far more respect to age. So in India, if you grow old, and if you are a senior citizen, and if you become even a super senior citizen, it is presumed that you have a lot of wisdom. And as I said earlier, irrespective of verifying whether you really are wise or not, you will be given a lot of respect. So isn't this something to be happy about? That earlier in your younger days, nobody looked at you unless they first checked your competence. They didn't give you respect. But in this age, without checking your credentials, they will give you a lot of respect. So the first thing to be happy about becoming a senior citizen or growing older is that you get a lot of respect. My point number two is that apart from respect, you get a lot of freedom also. I mean, you should be delighted at the kind of freedom that is given to you. You have actually reached a stage where you have now, well, please take my statements with a little pinch of salt, because they are not 100% true, but they are mostly true. You have finally reached an age or a stage where you have no responsibilities, no accountability, but a lot of power. I mean, isn't this what you were dreaming of when you were working in a company or wherever, or running your own businesses? No responsibility, no accountability, but a lot of power. And this power that you have is both, I would call it a soft power as well as hard power. Soft power is what I just explained to you about respect being given to you, etc. And hard power is your provident fund money and the pension that you're getting. That gives you a lot of power in your older age. So therefore, this was a dream of yours in the younger age. You always dreamt of this, saying that my boss, should give me a lot of managerial power in whichever position I'm working, and I shouldn't be asked about why I have not done a certain thing, etc., etc. So you have actually entered a stage where this dream of yours has come true. And I think it's something to be delighted about. So when you reach a senior citizen's age, please be happy about this situation that you have found yourself in. Now I have a friend who said, to hell with wisdom. I told you, because when you grow old in India, it is presumed that you have a lot of wisdom. The color of your hair decides the wisdom, not so much of your performances. So this guy said, to hell with wisdom. If God asks me, I want a better eyesight because I can't find my specs. So that is what he said. But fine, that's his point of view. I'll always take this respect and freedom, even if I am not able to find my specs. That's the kind of attitude I would take, and I would request all of you also to take. Okay, let's go to my point number 3, that gives you a lot of pleasure, happiness, and fun. as you grow old, you become more carefree. You have less hassles now. So obviously anybody who has less hassles, earlier you had so many hassles. You had to perform in the office in order to achieve some targets given to you by your boss. Even at home, you were expected to perform in front of your wife in terms of monetary upkeep of the family, etc. So you had a lot of people expecting a lot of things from you. And when this is the situation you find yourself in, obviously you can't be completely carefree. There are some amongst us who were very carefree in our younger age also. But most of us are burdened down by the kind of responsibilities that we have about how our future is going to turn out to be, whether I have purchased enough medical insurance, whether I have purchased enough life insurance, etc., etc., whether I have financially secured my family. There are lots of pressures and worries that you have, which does not make you as hassle-free and as carefree as the old age makes you. Here, the first, I would say, the first personality trait that you display when you become old is that you are not bothered about what others think of you. You're not bothered about anyone's opinion except yours. Obviously, being bothered about your own opinion is something which all of us have in our DNA. So we can't completely lose sight of that. But what others think of what Trump is doing and how he's taking America down the drain, etc., doesn't bother you, because you're wise now, and you say, no. How does Trump sitting in Washington and doing something affect me sitting in Chennai or Nagpur or wherever? And therefore, you are not bothered about others' opinions, much lesser than what you used to be bothered earlier in your younger days. In the younger days, you would get agitated if someone spoke even against your favorite film actor. You would stop and argue for 10-15 minutes. In order to convince him that, okay, Shah Rukh Khan is better than so-and-so and things like that. Or Kamal Haasan is better than Rajinikanth and things like that. Because you thought it was your duty to do that. In your old age, you have seen Kamal Haasan, you have seen Shah Rukh Khan, you have seen Rajinikanth. And if someone says someone is better than the other person, you're not affected very much. So in effect, you are leading a fairly carefree and a hassle-free life, unless out of your old habits you again in your senior citizen stage also stop and try and argue and tell him that no, such and such is better than the other person. You have seen it all, and therefore others' opinion, I'm summarizing it into one sentence, that others' opinions about anything in this world don't affect you so much. In fact, you most of the times come to a conclusion and move forward, which is what you should have done when you were younger also. But then probably you were not as wise as you have now become. Because trying to convince somebody that Kamal Haasan is better than Rajinikanth is a gargantuan task. That guy has been a fan of Kamal Haasan for God knows how many years. It's like saying that suppose I like bundi ka laddu and you like rabdi. And then somebody tells us that I'll put you both in a room, close the door. In 15 minutes, you have to convince the other person that bundi ka laddu is better or rabdi is better. Please come out with one decision. Is that possible? It's not possible. Because we'll keep fighting with each other. I'll keep on saying the good points of bundi ka laddu. You will keep on saying the good points of rabdi. Ultimately, we will come to no conclusion. But now we have entered an age where we say that it is futile convincing somebody about bundi ka laddu or rabdi or Kamala Haasan and Rajinikanth is a futile activity. You like Kamala Haasan, okay, go ahead, be happy liking Kamala Haasan. I like Rajinikanth, I am happy or I don't like both, I am happy not liking both. So you are not bothered. When I say not bothered, once again, please take all my statements with a little pinch of salt. It's not 100% like that, but it's mostly like that. So you've learned not to agitate yourself, not to bother about others' opinion. And you generally in the old age, you close the situation by thinking in your own mind that this guy is a madcap. You don't say that to his face, but you say, this guy is a madcap, there is no point in arguing anything with him, which is what you should have done in the younger age also. But as I said, you were not wise enough. The second thing that you're not bothered about, and therefore I'm putting under this hassle-free and the carefree attitude, is about formal dressing. You think the clothes that you wear at home are good enough for every situation. In fact, if people allow you, you will go in lungi to a party also in a 5-star hotel, or in a pajama to somewhere else. Like, in your younger days, you were so bothered about what kind of tie should I wear, does my jacket match my shirt, and do my socks match my other things that I have worn. Now you have reached a stage saying that how does it matter what I wear? Ultimately, they will recognize me by my intelligence. And therefore, if I open my mouth and say something which is palatable to them, which they like, they will be least bothered whether I'm wearing a pajama or a lungi in a formal situation also. So therefore, like I have a granddaughter who frequently calls her friends at home. She is a 10-year-old, so she's not the one at Pune is a 10-year-old granddaughter. Now she says, Ajoba is granddaddy. He says, Ajoba, what are you going to wear when all of them come home? So I tell her, I'm going to wear a t-shirt and a pajama. She says, Ajoba, then please remain inside your room. Now I can't understand, but I am wise enough to understand why she feels like that. That's exactly what probably I would have felt had I been her age. So they all want their Ajoba or grandfather to look like a trophy. They can't expect their friends to see a person who's dressed in what they call as phaltu clothes, coming in front and then, like, Ijjat ka sawal hai. In Hindi they say, Ijjat ka sawal hai. So that is what most of them. So you are no longer bothered about formal dressing, though. I was exaggerating when I said that you will wear a pajama to a 5-star hotel. That is the exaggeration. I'm sure none of us would do that. But my point is that you are not so worried, you are not so hassled about which dress to wear on which occasion. The third thing that you're not ashamed of, and I'm sure all of us will agree with this, we are not ashamed of our with no knowledge of technology. Like you want to start the OTT, you have to call your grandson or granddaughter to start Netflix or start Jio Hotstar, where some movie is running which you want to see. Every time you try to do it, you disturb all the connections, and they have to take another 3-4 minutes to restore all the connections. So you have learned in your old age that it is better to call them and then ask them to put Jio Hotstar and this particular movie, or Sony Live and the cricket match, and then they do it within a minute, and everyone's time is saved. So you are no longer, you see, in your younger age, you would have felt so ashamed. Okay, look, I have to take the help of people half my age, 1/3 my age, to do all these things. And I consider myself as a technical buff. You were a technical buff for the gadgets that were prevalent in your time. In today's time, if you are serious enough, I'm sure you can master this also. But many of us don't have the patience to master it, especially when there are so many people who could do it 10 times faster than you. So why learn? So they say, laga do, please connect this so and so. So therefore you're fairly, like many of us are challenged. I call them Zoom challenged. They are very eager to attend Zoom conferences, but they can't, log into the conference and then, do whatever is expected of you to do. Simple things like mute yourself, unmute yourself, close your video, start your video, record this conversation, show a PowerPoint presentation. They said, sorry, I'm not attend the Zoom meeting. This is too much for me. I don't know all these things. So it comes to Android, the same story for Zoom, same story for OTTs, and same story for television also, smart TVs. Because that smart TV has become like a computer now. It is exactly like a computer, except that it's at a different place and in a different position. So therefore, we have stopped being ashamed of our technical, lack of knowledge. And there's nothing wrong in this. Those of us who have the patience should try and master these. I'm not saying that don't master it at all and let the situation remain as it is. But those of us who do not have the inclination to master all these, it's fine. Have somebody next to you who will do this quickly. And they are all your own people. So because you're not ashamed of this technical naivete, I would call it. I mean, you just don't understand many of those things. I would say that yes, you have entered a carefree phase, which is also a hassle-free kind of a situation. There is another situation where you have become totally carefree and hassle-free. Like, if you remember your younger days, your wife didn't allow to, interact very closely with her friends who either came for a kitty party or thing like that. And the moment you went out of bounds, according to her definition, she would stare at you, put up her eyes. Now you'll suddenly find that she is no longer bothered. She thinks you are harmless. So therefore she allows you to interact with any of her female friends who come to the house. And you are also very casual and very hassle-free. You go and talk to them, you inquire about their grandchildren, you inquire about her husband, and your wife is not worried. She's gone inside to fetch a cup of tea for everyone. In the meantime, you had a 5-minute long conversation with one of her friends, who's good looking also, or at least who was good looking in her younger age. Your wife is not at all bothered. Why? For the main reason that she thinks that you have become harmless, which is also a fact. That we have become harmless in our older age. So therefore, what I'm saying is being carefree and being hassle-free is one of the funs of, growing old. So don't miss that fun. Talk to your wife's friends if you want. Talk freely with her, and you don't have your wife objecting to it anymore. I'm going to point number 4 now. In point number 4, I said that many of us feel that, in our old age, our memory fails us. That means we don't remember things. Now, all medical research says that this is a myth. We have enough brain cells in our brain for this not to happen. But we are so we are so tuned into this thinking because 10 people tell us, "Yare, look, I went into the room and I didn't realize why I had come into that room. Then I remembered that friend of ours from IIT. I'm somehow not remembering his name." And then that guy also gives 2-3 more examples of his own. And then you suddenly feel that this must be happening during old age. Doctors say this need not happen. But if you keep on repeating this to yourself, I'm not able to remember. Nowadays I don't remember this. See, even young people sometimes go into a room and don't remember why they have come there. Only thing is they don't publicize it because otherwise somebody will criticize them. We in our happiness and relaxed mood, we keep telling everybody that this is what happened. I went here and I didn't remember why I went there. But let me tell you medical facts. The doctors say that this need not happen. But it will happen if you keep on repeating it to yourself a number of times. If you keep on telling yourself that this is happening because of old age, this is happening because of old age, then it will really happen to you. So it's a kind of a vicious cycle which affects your own memory. But it is a myth. So please celebrate that it has turned out to be a myth. If you were under the impression that this is naturally going to happen to you when you become old, then I guess things would be worse. One of my friends said in my younger days, I would love to remember my dream of becoming a millionaire. All of us have these dreams of becoming a millionaire. Some of us want to become dollar millionaires. Some of us are happy at becoming rupee millionaires. But all of us have this common dream. And we all want to keep reminding ourselves that, look, you are wanting to become a millionaire. And then all our actions, go accordingly. Now this friend of mine says that forget about being a millionaire. I will be very happy. I will be very happy to remember where I have kept my spectacles. So I'm not concerned about becoming a millionaire. I have become whatever I have become. And therefore, this is a good attitude to take for senior citizens like us, because memory is not a problem, I am repeating. My last and 5th positive point about why you should celebrate old age or why it is great fun to become old is nostalgia. When you were young, there was no nostalgia because you were living through that. You had just gone through those experiences. Now when you're old, when you're let's say 70, you have a huge amount of, huge amount of memories which will give you nostalgia, and a very, very pleasant nostalgia. When you go through the photographic album which is kept at home, or maybe you hear a favorite song which may be a love song, but it brings tears to your eyes. Why? Because you're reminded of those days when that love song used to be one of your most favorite. Food evokes past memories. You eat something and you say, "Nah, this is exactly like how my wife prepares this dish at home." And that is nostalgia. So food can evoke nostalgia, songs can evoke nostalgia, photographs can evoke nostalgia. And the more you travel, what are known as deja vu moments, you many a times feel that, oh, I have gone through this before, without remembering where and how you had gone through it. But the fact remains that nostalgia is something which needs to be enjoyed by senior citizens. A young person of 22 cannot enjoy nostalgia because it doesn't have enough stock of nostalgia. He has some stock. I'm not saying that he has no stocks, but he has some stock. But we have almost an unlimited stock in every sphere that we experience. And nostalgia gives great pleasure. So please immerse yourself in nostalgia. Don't think that you're trying to live something which is never going to come back. That is not the attitude you should take towards nostalgic feelings. Enjoy them, immerse yourself into them. Even if it is for 5 minutes, let those tears roll down because they are tears of happiness. They are not tears of grief. When you are reminded, especially I have many of my friends who have settled in America. Imagine, but they have spent their entire working life in India. I'm telling you the kind of nostalgia they have. It's not that they hate America or they hate the environment in which they are staying, but they always have a separate corner for themselves and a separate time in the day when they will do what they used to do in India, which means looking at photographs, listening to videos, listening to songs, etc. And they are sitting there with tears rolling down their eyes, and their family members have known that grandpa doesn't have to be disturbed during this phase of his. So it's pure pleasure. It's pure pleasure, and I think many of us should, or more of us should, enjoy that particular feeling. It gives a lot of happiness and pleasure. Okay, but now I'm changing track, and as is commonly said that we become old without doing anything. We become old, but there are no free lunches, as it's called. I have only told you one side of the story, that how good it is, how pleasurable it is, and how happy you will become when you become old, and how much fun you will have when you become old. But there are 3 things that I have identified which could mar this fun. And while I am telling those, I am also going to give you the antidotes to those 3 things, so that it's not as if I am just raising a red flag in front of you and saying that, look, the train has to stop because the flag is red. I'll also tell you how to convert that red into green, so that you can continue on your fun-loving journey. Now, for all the perquisites that you get of becoming old, we've just spoken of many of them. For all the perquisites, you get respect without deserving, probably. Only you know that you don't deserve it, but still you get it. So, for all the perquisites that you get, you occasionally need to act like a piece of furniture at home. What does a piece of furniture do? It just stays there without commenting, it doesn't even have eyes to observe. We have eyes to observe. So when there are parties at home, when suppose your son's bosses or someone is coming at home, or your daughter-in-law's friends are coming home, or even your grandchild's friends are coming home, to have a cool party. The word cool meant something else when we were young. Today cool means something else, but we understand what that cool means today also. Now in all such occasions, please ask yourself this question. Will it be prudent for me to be a piece of furniture at home? And many a times you will get an answer yes. And if the answer is yes, please act like a piece of furniture, meaning don't interfere in their conversations. Don't give them advice. If possible, help your daughter-in-law or someone else at home to maybe, serve some dishes to them, vagara vagara. So you need not be a completely inert furniture. You can be a furniture who is like a mute furniture. You're not contributing very much to the process, but you're still being a part of that process and a positive part of that process. And I can tell you, when you are a positive part of such a process at home, everyone thinks good of you because you have helped them achieve their objectives. When your son's boss comes at home for dinner and you start giving some suggestions about how some problem in the office should be solved, they look at you saying that, Hari, we are there being paid lakhs of rupees to solve the problem. What is this grandpa trying to tell us? And he's retired from his office years ago. I remember I am a great fan of cricket, and Kapil Dev was, of course, an extremely good performer as a bowler, as a batsman. But he, during his last, I think he retired within 6 months of the story that I am telling you. He played a match at Nagpur, and I went there to see that match. And even ordinary batsmen were hitting him for boundaries and sixers. He was bowling, and everybody knew Kapil Dev is a very talented person. But he was towards the end of his career. Same is the case with Dhoni. Same is the case with Sunil Gavaskar. When they were in the last 10-15% of their career, they were not a patch on what they used to be in their prime. So if Dhoni, Kapil Dev and Gavaskar couldn't avoid that, who are you and I? So therefore, don't try to think that you can still solve the problems in your son's office by giving some suggestions, saying, during my time, maybe you were a senior manager in your time, but your solutions are probably not relevant. I'm using the word probably because sometimes they could be relevant also. But what is viewed with great amount of suspicion by your son as well as his bosses, that why is this person trying to tell us something about which he knows so little? So it is better to be a piece of furniture. So therefore, when I say a piece of furniture, it is in this context that I am mentioning it, that if you follow this tactic, then the senior citizenship would be more fun, more pleasurable, more happiness, because everybody in the family will now look very positive, think very positively about you. The second negative thing which will haunt you is your health. If you have become older, all the rosy picture that I have painted in the last half an hour will, completely get cancelled if your health is not good. And that is not something in your hands, I understand. If your health is bad, what can you do? Now, when your health is bad, obviously you take care of your health. I am nobody to advise there because every person's health problems are different. So obviously you should take care of your health. But there are 2 or 3 things that you should definitely avoid. What are these 2 or 3 things? One is, when you meet somebody, don't keep talking about your own illness. Suppose like in my case, I have had a cancer prostate surgery. My prostate was removed because they found some cancerous traces in that. Now the operation took place 2 years ago. Everything went fine. Till now it looks fine. Now the moment somebody comes and starts discussing about something to do with medicine or health, I am the first to tell you, hey, do you know I went through a robotic surgery at such and such hospital in Pune, and they did this and they did that, and for about 6 months I was... That guy will say, fine, fine grandpa, we know that you've gone through that, but was it the place and occasion to mention this? If the topic veers towards a prostate surgery, maybe you could always, 1 minute, maybe you could contribute something. But the topic is maybe something else. Someone is discussing his heart problems and you butt in with your prostate problems. So that guy will say, "Arey, kya kar raha hai ye aadmi?" That is the time people get bored of you. The next time they won't involve you in any medical conversation because you are constantly talking about your own illnesses. We understand that your illness was probably one of the greatest tragedy in your life and it was important enough, but then there is an occasion and a time for you to mention it. Generally, a good golden rule is to wait for somebody to ask you, saying that, Mr. Shesh, how was your experience of the prostate surgery in such and such hospital? Should I go to that hospital? Now, he's asked you for advice, give him your advice, whatever you have. So that should be fine. But don't start off with your illness every time any medical discussion takes place, because old people have more medical problems. Therefore, they will have more occasions where they can mention what they have gone through. Another thing related to your health is, I have found many senior citizens don't maintain good personal hygiene, which is always a put off for. I distinctly remember in one family, one of my friend's family, the granddaughter would never go and sit in the lap of the grandfather. And for many days, nobody understood. I mean, within their family, they of course shared this story later on with me. So the mother kept on saying, go to Ajoba, why don't you sit in his lap? He is looking forward to your sitting in the lap. And then after 3-4 days, she said, I don't want to sit in his lap because he smells funny. Now, smells funny could mean so many things. So please take care of your personal hygiene. We get a little lazy. In this older age, we get a little lazy. So the things that we were doing very meticulously in our younger days or even 10 years ago are sometimes the things which we do not do now. Probably we keep washing our hands properly. Yes, washing hands is the basic thing, otherwise we will get affected. So we wash our hands with soap. But there are many other things which we don't do as are expected of us. So I would suggest, now this again will work out differently for different people, but maintaining personal hygiene is one of the important tasks. The old man doesn't realize, or the old woman doesn't realize that something is wrong with her personal hygiene. But everyone else who comes in contact, especially close family members who come in contact, are they realize immediately. And if this is what happens, and if they find you not improving, then automatically there would be some kind of a distance between them. They will not be able to tell you clearly that that the granddaughter will not be able to tell you clearly that she does not want to come and sit in your lap because of a funny smell. But she'll just avoid with all kinds of other reasons. She'll run off to her friends. Every time you want to hug her, she'll say no. All kinds of things can happen. So my suggestion is that please take care of your personal hygiene. This can also become a roadblock in the fun that you will otherwise get while becoming old. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you was, this is also a negative kind of a thing which needs to be converted into a positive thing. And that is that when we become old, we become irrelevant. Let's accept that. I mean, there's no point in thinking that we are still as relevant to everybody as we were 10 or 15 years ago. So managing this irrelevance is a great skill. Great skill. Most of us are not able to manage our irrelevance because we have not. Suppose you are the managing director of a company and you retire. In one day, you are almost coming from 100 to 0. Well, not 0, but 100 to 20. And you are not able to tolerate this. There's nobody laughing at your jokes who were earlier, probably those people were laughing at your jokes because of the position that you occupied. People are not looking at you, they are looking through you now because they know that your importance has gone down. The same examples that I gave you of those sportsmen earlier, Kapil Dev, Gavaskar and Dhoni and other things, and now what probably Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are going to become, they will become more irrelevant. In the case of sports, it's more starkly visible because they become irrelevant at the age of 35, 40. We at least become irrelevant at the age of 60 or 65. So they become irrelevant much earlier. But all of us have to someday become irrelevant. And when you become irrelevant, it's one of the most difficult things to handle. So I'll quickly tell you the 4 or 5 solutions to manage irrelevance. I'll just push them through one by in a line each because I think I just have about 5 minutes left now. So there is one very good philosophy of the Hindu religion which is not there in no other religion, and that is of those 4 ashrams. So let's say I'll not waste time on Brahmacharya ashram or Grahastha ashram. I'll just mention Vanaprastha ashram and Sannyas ashram. These are more relevant to us. Now, Vanaprasthashram literally in Sanskrit means walking towards the jungle. One is jungle and prasthan means to walk. And sannyas ashram, as the name suggests, is like we are becoming a mendicant, we are becoming a sannyasi. Now, what you must realize that we do not have to literally take those words. We need to become like that in our attitude. Vanaprasthashram effectively means that now you are going to get into sannyas ashram maybe after 4 or 5 years. So have you started preparing about it right now? Have you started delegating things to your sons and daughters and relatives or whosoever is there? Are you getting ready for sannyas? And the actual sannyas ashram doesn't mean that you have to throw away all your clothes and go into the jungles in order to meditate. You can stay in your 25th floor flat, wherever you are, enjoy all the modern luxuries, but by attitude you become a sannyasi. And what is the attitude of a sannyasi? That this is no longer a stage to acquire things. This is a stage to give things. So you can give knowledge, you can give whatever you want, and don't take money for it. So if you follow these two, Vanaprasthashram and Sannyas ashram, I think you will be able to manage irrelevance much better than somebody else who does not pay attention to this at the right time. Another good habit that you need to develop is you must start appreciating others' achievements. I find this, a lot of people find it very difficult to appreciate others' achievements. In their younger days, things didn't matter. I mean, you only appreciated some achievements of your close assistant managers who were there in your team. Appreciating somebody is one of the most difficult tasks. Like they say, doing a comedy act on stage is one of the most difficult tasks for an actor. You can make people cry, you can make people exuberant, but you cannot make them laugh unless you are really good at it. And therefore, I think by force acquire this habit of appreciating. In fact, what you should do is, according to me, is decide that whom am I going to appreciate today? Among the long list of friends, choose somebody. Okay, I am going to make a telephone call appreciating Prakash Shesh. Fine, you don't have to appreciate Prakash Shesh for another 60, 90, 120 days. I am not saying every day make a call to him and say, "Arey, you are so good," and things like that. But please learn to appreciate others. It greatly reduces your irrelevance. Because who doesn't like appreciation? That man will remain your permanent friend. Even if he is not a permanent friend till now, he'll think very well of you. So therefore, appreciate others. Develop hobbies which you have not had time to do so in your younger days. Like I am singing. I used to sing well earlier also, but I never had any time to practice and sing on occasions where, when the occasion demanded. So I used to take part only in the social gathering of my colleges. So that is one song a year. So I said, fine, this is all because I am not making singing as a career. So you can think of 10 and 20, many hobbies. They could be anything. I mean, you could do singing, you could do gardening, you could do learning a new technical knowledge. You can do so many things. But think about it and pursue your hobbies for which you had no time in your younger age. This is the same as saying that acquire some new knowledge. According to me, most of us who are relics of 50 years ago, the best knowledge that we could acquire is technical knowledge. So maybe, recently on the internet, they are constantly advertising saying that spend 20 minutes a day to learn artificial intelligence. And within 30 days, you will become fairly good. Now, we know that we are not going to become fairly good because we are naturally stupid. So what will artificial intelligence do to us? But still, there is no harm. It doesn't cost much. Plus, it will occupy you for half an hour a day in that forum and also for another maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. And at the end of it, they have promised that you will become an expert in artificial intelligence. Let's say you become only a 25% expert in artificial intelligence. It is much better than what you were before you started that program. So acquire a technical knowledge. It will keep you busy. It will give you a sense of achievement. And a sense of achievement is exactly the opposite of irrelevance. When you have a sense of achievement, you no longer think you are irrelevant. So therefore, pursue a hobby and also acquire some technical knowledge. Spend more time with your near and dear ones. I don't think this, you might already be doing it by force because you have nothing else to do. So you are spending time. But what I'm saying is take enjoyment in spending time with your near and dear ones. And the near and dear ones don't mean only your granddaughters and grandsons, because they are, of course, always a pleasure to be with. I read somewhere saying that why do grandparents get along so well with grandchildren? And they said they get along well with each other because they have a common enemy. And you know what common enemy is. So, the last thing that I would like to tell you is that in whatever you do in these senior years, set low targets. Don't set high targets that from next week I am going to sing like Muhammad Rafi. It's too high a target. It was too high a target even in your younger days. So set low targets because you are no longer the lion that you were earlier. So if you set lower targets, you will get the pleasure of achieving those targets. In our younger days, management knowledge says that don't set low targets. I am saying that in your senior years, please set a low target, because not setting low targets then was relevant, and setting a low target in this phase of your life is also relevant. And the last thing the last point in this managing irrelevance that I want to share with you is don't ever lose your self-esteem. Self-esteem is something which you lose very quickly in your senior years because you are useless, you are not so strong, you are not doing much of work, nobody is dependent on you, you feel useless and therefore irrelevant. According to me, this is a great enemy of self-esteem. If you are in this situation for like a pressure cooker, if you remain in this situation for maybe 2-3 months, you start thinking I am no good. That means your self-esteem would go down. Please convince yourself that you are still useful. Only thing is that the things that you are useful for now are different than the things that you were useful for 50 years ago. As long as you are convinced about this and as long as you agree to this, you will always realize that you are still useful. One of the things that senior citizens do, I have seen them doing it and sometimes I also do it, we refuse help from others, meaning our close family members. No, I'll do this. They want to come and hold your hand while you're getting up from the chair. No. You think that by accepting help from them, you are actually becoming worse than what you actually are. It's not so. Imagine they are wanting seriously to help you. By you are constantly saying no to them, you are disappointing them also. What will the sons and the daughters-in-law and the grandparents, children who are at home, every time I go to grandpa, he says, no, don't help me. I can get up. I can walk on my own. I can take my walker. I'll reach the kitchen. What I suggest is find out windows where you can actively accept help from you, because that keeps, them also in a good mood. So fine. I've said whatever I had prepared for. I hope you enjoyed what I said. And I am convinced that growing old is a lot of fun, provided you take care of these 2 or 3 negatives which I told you towards the end, provided you take corrective action to turn them around and, make positively helpful to your own personality. So thank you very much for a patient hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash Shesh, for a wonderful piece of talk, actually. I think many of the points we are aware, but we don't practice it. I think it's something not which we know about, but definitely I think you have kindled our mind, or maybe thrown instinct to that to seriously practice actually. Very thankful for your fantastic presentation and also the good talk. It was quite humorous also, and also educative, and I think all the people would be very eager to ask some questions. I think I'm looking all the faces in the video blushing, and then they want to ask some questions. So I throw open the session. Actually, I open up the mute. So one by one they can ask the questions. After this, we will go for the vote of thanks and the open mic session. 1 second. Yeah, people can unmute themselves one by one. Probably you can ask if at all or you have got anything to ask. Actually, yeah. Please go ahead, Mr. Ravi.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prakash ji. Very enlightening talk, as Narayanan ji rightly pointed out. Knowing things that are being spoken by somebody else is one thing, but actually implementing it is really the key. I have a serious question in what is a very humorous and light-hearted speech that you gave, with a serious content though, is this. The reservoir of knowledge and experience that senior citizens together make. I don't see any serious concerted effort being put by any institution or any authority to tap into that and make good use of it. I'll just give you a small example. Take some simple subjects. They say we have teacher shortages. You say we should take pleasure out of sharing knowledge and don't expect money. There is a need, there is a resource available with minimal expectations. Why is it that no authority, no institution, no department, no government ever actually taps into this?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. What you say is mostly true. But just take the other side of it. The government feels that a lot of your knowledge, except in the teaching field, I agree with you, that your knowledge doesn't become out of date. You can still give out that knowledge and improve the productivity of your students. But other than that, it's a question of if old people are employed to guide businesses, then there will be a serious employment problem because the younger people will not be able to go up. So then a solution has been found saying that, okay, appoint them as advisors or consultants. That's a euphemism that you have. Many a times in the industry, it has been found that the knowledge that the senior person has itself become outdated. He, of course, doesn't think that it is outdated, but technically they think it has become outdated. And therefore, they would rather employ a person who's graduated recently or who has knowledge about recent technology and happenings than employ an old person who maybe 25 years ago did a fantastic job in his corporation. So does that mean that the knowledge just goes waste? That is where your first suggestion was good. Instead of looking at the government or the industry utilizing this knowledge, I think old people coming together and finding out avenues where their knowledge could be used is much better. Don't wait for the government to do it or some private industry to do it, because according to me, they will not do it. Even if you were on the board of directors of a private industry, you would prefer a person like who is well versed in artificial intelligence. When you were working in your company or wherever, AI was not even heard of. So whom will they prefer to take in order to advise them about their businesses? But if, let's say, you have the senior citizens clubs who can decide, there are many small scale industries in the rural areas who have not had any assistance from anybody at all. And therefore, the combined effort of senior citizen clubs in solving their management problems or their education problems or whatever, or even advising them about how financial savings could be handled, etc., would be a much better thing. And if you don't take any money for that, they are that much easier to they step forward and take your services. If you say, okay, if you do this, then you have to deposit 5,000 rupees, then they'll say, okay, this is one more commercial activity. Let me now analyze whether it will give me the worth of 5,000 rupees or not. And you don't require the money, so why unnecessarily expect it? This is my reaction. Individual senior citizens could also handle this problem. Suppose you don't have a forum. You yourself are staying in a rural area where there is no possibility of a forum getting formed, then you could think of maybe the local anath ashram or these boys who require, education, help, things like that. Catch hold of them in your own house. Maybe you can teach them 1 hour a day or something like that. Whatever. So on your own, you can do whatever. Whatever you do will add to the positivity of the society. But don't wait for the government or the industry to, employ you.
Thank you.
Because I don't think they will.
Yeah, thank you, Prakash. The next one, Ranu Kumar. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Prakash, I would like to ask a stupid question. I call it stupid because it is something well known. Should we live with our children or away from them? I call it stupid because out of necessity for independence or for earning abroad, people are away. Our children are not with us, many of them. Now, please answer my stupid question.
No, it's no longer a stupid question. It's one of the most burning question affecting a lot of parents and lot of children also. Let's say there are two situations where your children are, let's say, abroad, unlikely to come back. And now the grandpa and the grandma are here in India. They are worried, they're saying that who is there to take care of them. And you also are worried about what will happen to me in case of a medical emergency and things like that. Now, I also am in a similar position, except that one of my sons is in India. So that way, I'm not in a situation where both my sons or both my daughters, if they were abroad, then what would have, the problem would have been more severe. According to me, the first option, if it is possible, is to go and stay with them wherever they are staying. If it is possible. Generally the older parents here think I have been staying in Bangalore all my life. I don't want to go and stay in Boston. I don't know anybody there. I can't get out. Vagara, vagara. They have 10 problems about why they would not like to go. And the children are very cordially inviting you, saying that if you come and stay with us, then we will not be constantly worried about what is happening to you when you are staying alone in your wherever house in Bangalore. So if it is possible, according to me, the first option, I am calling it an option because it is not always possible. First option should be for you as elder parents to go and stay with your children so that, this problem at least vanishes. They are not constantly worried. And I am presuming that they are capable of taking care of you financially, emotionally, etc., etc. Now, if that is somehow not possible, if that is not somehow possible, then the second option would be to look for a retirement home where people of your age, are staying. There are many retirement homes, for example, in Pune, where my younger son stays. They are meant specifically for senior citizens who stay there. Everything is taken care of. I'm sure you are aware of that. I was told that there was one or two very good ones at Coimbatore also. So the second option could be that, where you literally go and stay there. These, according to me, are the two options. But you need to decide when either of these options should be activated. Because, it depends on your health. It depends on how frequently you break down. And also, because children can't come running to you. They'll soon start thinking that daddy and mummy are a botheration. We are constantly worried. Then there's a phone call from our neighbor. Arey, daddy fell down today outside. He's had a fracture. We have made him. And in India, unlike in America, we have good neighbors. They take care of everything. They'll sometimes do a job better than your sons and daughters. So we are actually lucky that they would do that for us. But that doesn't mean that, imagine if you were young and were staying in USA and you got the news that your daddy has broken his foot. Now you will be, whether should I go? Is he being taken care of? All kinds of hundreds of questions. And we have this funny notion in our mind, what will others say? Which according to me is a useless question. What will others say that this guy ran away to America, leaving his parents to fend for themselves? So according to me, these are the only two relevant options. First is go and stay with them Second is go and stay in a senior citizens community. Don't stay alone. But you have to decide when this stage has arrived. Like when is it that now you will frequently fall down or frequently fall ill and then somebody will have to rush you to the hospital. If you think that stage has arisen, then think of these two options and adopt one of them. This is what I would say. But it's not a stupid question. It is something which is affecting a huge number of people now.
Thank you, and I think it's well answered actually. Yeah, next one, Ramakrishna. Unmute. Ramakrishna, unmute yourself.
Sir Prakash sir, there is no questions, but I really enjoyed your talk. You have shown us what we really see. We have shown what we really see and face in the routine life since maybe last 7 to 10 years. It is very enlightening. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You feel like that. I mean, I'll tell you what. Any speaker does not give any new knowledge of his own. He's not an Einstein to think of theory of relativity to speak on. He only arranges the existing information in a manner that suddenly you feel, I never looked at it this way. That's about it.
We bypass all these things and think of something new than what we know.
Yeah. And I would also request all of you that in case you like one or two points in what I have said, please implement them immediately. Don't wait for some Sankranti or Christmas or some such thing to come, Don't wait for that. Yeah.
Mr. Prakash Kumar here.
Yes.
How to remain relevant?
How to remain relevant?
Yeah.
Now, I've given you a brief, quick analysis of about how to reduce your irrelevance. So, reducing irrelevance is the same thing as being relevant. But those of you who have, I don't know, I'm not wanting to market my book, but I would seriously suggest that you could buy, I have written 2 books. One is called In and Out of the Box, and the second one is called Delightfully Different Thinking. And, if you buy both of them together, they are available at a cost of 500 rupees, including shipment charges to your home. I would very seriously urge you because they are doing very well. The first book I have sold 4,000 copies, and the second book which I have published just about 7-8 months ago also we have crossed the figure of 1,000. So without appearing to be marketing my books, if you feel, because there are many and the whole book is not like a novel. It contains essays of 2 or 3 pages. So you can start the book from any side, end it anytime, restart it anytime. All the essays are 2 or 3 pages, and most of them have got published in leading newspapers earlier. So therefore, if you feel like buying, Mr. Narayanan will give you my WhatsApp number, or if you have it, please just inform me your address with PIN code, and I'll dispatch it by speed post to you. So this question about how to remain relevant is answered in a chapter there. But it contains most of the things that I have said, except only thing is that it has been expanded properly.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I think Prakash has got a blog, I think. If you're not, you can tell about that also. I think where you can follow his many of his activities actually. Isn't it, sir?
No, I have stopped writing the blog because everything that I wrote finally came into these books.
Okay.
And I've kind of emptied my mind now because I don't think I can write a third book now because it's not on current events. I only write on things which I think will be useful to the reader in some manner or the other. So you could follow my YouTube channel if you want. I have one channel where most of my songs are uploaded, and another channel where many of my public talks. For example, now when Mr. Narayanan sends me a recording of this very talk, I'll upload it to my YouTube channel which talks out about my public lectures. I have given 2 or 3 TED lectures also. So all of them are there. But I would still say that if you are a good reader, you'll enjoy those books. In fact, 20% of the sales of my books are through gifting. People like the book and they said, okay, we'll give it to so-and-so, we'll give it to so-and-so. All that you have to do is to inform me the address where it needs to be sent. So we put a chit inside saying that this has been gifted to you by Mr. Narayanan. And then the book goes, and the man opens, or lot of them are gifting those books for marriages also. I told them maybe the guys must be opening the book 6 months after getting married, because they have other better things to do than reading my books. But still, so you could do that if you want.
Ravi, I'll give you a chance before. Let me see if anyone else ask. Is there anyone else, please? Or else it'll be Ravi. Go ahead, Ravi.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a point, if I may take that liberty, Prakash sir, is about being relevant. I will give you a very simple example. My mother has moved from 89 to 90 now. She looks for activity in the home where she can be useful to the home. To this day, every morning, she is the one who cuts the vegetables that are going to be cooked. It's standard, it's fixed. So I know another person who always loads the dishwasher. So we look around, there are some who water the plants, and that's a big relief to the homemaker. Right. So I think we need to look around, pick up things that are well within our capacity, which won't strain our back or strain our mind or strain our hands and limbs. Just simply keep doing it so that your self-esteem goes up, which you talked about. Your relevance to the home goes up because there is a certain role in which you are relevant, even if it is minimal. And also your faculties are constantly in use in that activity. And to that extent, you don't become a misfit or you don't atrophy in those aspects. I just wanted to add.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better.
Thank you, Ravi, for that piece of information. If there are any questions, I will go to the next session of our program. The announcements, actually. The next meeting will be on November 23rd. And the speaker is going to be one Mr. Mohan Rao. And he's going to speak on wind energy generation, probably the nuances and how to understand the industry and what is happening over there. Incidentally, I want to tell the members, this is our 180th meeting and we have completed 15 years with this for a year. So this is a 180th meeting. I forgot to mention the number earlier when I opened the meeting. So with today, I think if I remember on 2010, I was seeing my old diary, but Sharma was maintaining. It started sometime in July 2010. So with 2025, in some of October, it's definitely 180 because there was one meeting or two meetings we could miss because there was some disturbance, and I think because of Corona actually it happened. So that takes a tally to 180 meetings actually. 15 years we have completed Foswell. It's a very proud achievement. Thanks to the mentor, Mr. M.L. Swami, who has made this happen to us. And definitely the Zoom, which is also facilitating. I call upon Anand Kumar to give the vote of thanks. After that, I'll open the meeting for open mic session. Anand Kumar. Vote of thanks, Anand Kumar. Unmute. Unmute.
Yeah. My dear friend, Mr. Prakash, it's a pleasure to listen to you. I learn from you many things, and many of your points are of reminder value. I appreciate your suggestion about personal hygiene to keep good relations with the next generation. I also have to thank my own son, C. Kulasekaram, whom we call as Sidhu, for the wonderful introduction that he has given to the speaker of the day. It was my wish that younger generation should also be involved in participating Foswell meetings. And one point that Mr. Prakash has missed is participation in Forceful itself is a way of enjoying the old age. I also appreciate and thank 3 people who have newly joined and attended this meeting. One, of course, is familiar to you, P.S. Kumar, Dr. P.S. Kumar. He's from Adyar Foswal. He's now in Tanjore, but he joined us. That's because I've sent nearly 150 invitations. I just simply forwarded whatever our president has sent me and requested all the people to join because I was worried about the dropping attendance. And another friend, my Sishya, a person who did apprenticeship in my office nearly 3 decades back, Subba Reddy from Hyderabad, a chartered accountant practicing there. He's also a book writer. And he's into Telugu story writing, even from his student days. And another friend who has attended a part of the talk is Dr. Raja Anthony from Trichy. He served as German representative of the German government in the German Red Cross. He has switched over to a new job. I requested our president to have him as a speaker in one of our meetings. And I even volunteered that I will also speak sometime later when I get a chance. Anyway, all things good or bad should end. It was a good evening, enjoyed by all of us. Mr. Prakash should be appreciated for getting an attendance of nearly 27 people. It's no less due to his popularity. Another point Mr. Prakash has missed, I feel, is that I've been reading many WhatsApp saying that there are 2 things that give us company in the old age. One is our own body and our wife, or husband, spouse. Try to live as long as possible. Keeping health is not any difficult. Medicines alone cannot cure any disease. Exercise and nutrition play a very great role. Of course, you can't live forever. We'll have to kick the bucket. Let us do it after 100. Thank you. Enjoyed, Dr. Prakash. Namaste to you.
Thank you, Anand Kumar, for this put off. Thanks. I'm just opening up the session. We can probably discuss other points or yes.